So I want to talk really quickly about being present and being in the present moment and what that really means. And then I'd like to also actually offer a little tip and trick that I use to keep myself rooted in the present moment because, everyone floats away. We float into the future where we're thinking about what's going to be, what could be, what might be, and we float back to the past thinking about things that have happened. And, then you start to, get all upset about something that happened that's not even happening anymore. And it's very easy to kind of just get stuck in this crazy, it's almost like a snowball going down a mountain, right? As it goes, it collects more and more mass and it gets faster and faster. And before you know it, you're just completely out of control. So I want to offer a little tip and trick on how to bring yourself back to the present moment. But first I want to talk about why it's so important to be in the present moment. You hear a lot of talk about being in the present moment, right? Any spiritual text, so many gurus, masters, everybody talks about being present, stay now, stay here. Why? Well, it's really very simple. You are not able to experience the future right now. You are not able to even experience the past, even though you can sit there and remember it all you want. And the emotions and feelings that you're going to drag up inside your body when you remember that past event, especially if it's super traumatic, those are going to be easy to call up, but you're still not experiencing the event. You're experiencing your emotions surrounding that event. And I've got news for you, and this may not be news, but science has actually proven that when you remember an event, you're actually not even remembering what actually happened. You're remembering your first memory of that event. So you're not even actually thinking about something that happened in reality. It's just the way you perceived it. And as we all know, we can only perceive less than 1% of the spectrum of light. So you don't even know what you're perceiving in the end anyway. Nobody really does, right? So the past, we just need to let go, let it be in the past, because it's no longer happening. It can't affect us unless we sit there thinking about how we felt about something. And then, you bring up those feelings of negativity, which then cause disease in the body. It really does. It raises your cortisol levels. Cortisol levels that are raised in your body will then suppress the immune system. And well, what do you know? You get sick after that. So it doesn't help you to think about the past unless you're thinking about the lesson you learned and what you came away from so that you can then deal with that in the present moment. Now, why should we not think about the future? Well, the future's unwritten. We're all on a track to do whatever it is that we're planning on doing, but you can change course at any time. Your life is literally in your hands. You can choose through action, through positivity, through prayer, through all the different things that you can use, but primarily you must take action. You have to take the steps, whether it's even thinking about something that's going to happen in the future that you want to see happen, or making that phone call, or putting together a business plan, whatever it is, you have to take part in it. No one just sits there meditating in their room all day long and then all of a sudden everything's added onto them. They have to do something. You have to take a step, right? So where do these steps happen? They happen in the present moment. So coming back to the present moment is so important because that's where your life happens. The future that you're preparing for and the past that you learned from, you experience both of those things in the now, in that present moment, which is eternal. You're always in the present moment. So if you're thinking about the future, you're taking your attention away from the very most important and most real thing that there is, which is this moment right here. So what do you do to get back to the present moment if your mind starts racing and you can't figure out how to slow it down? Well, the first thing you need to do is take 3 deep breaths. Just as soon as you take 3 deep breaths, you're instantly calmer. Your heart rate slows. Your brain activity slows. You're not even able to think while you are focused on breathing. So right away, you've slowed everything down. You've dilated time, okay? Or you've stretched time. Now, once you've taken those 3 breaths, it's very easy to get lost in the thoughts again. So what I want you to do after you take those 3 breaths is notice 3 things around you. It could be a light switch, it could be the light, it could be a room, it could be a fridge, it could be whatever it is, it could be a sound. But notice 3 things in your environment currently. You can look down at your hands, at your feet, at your knees, doesn't matter. But notice 3 things after your 3 breaths. Once you've gotten to that place, you're gonna feel a lot more clear, a lot more calm, and a lot more able to act instead of react. So if somebody's yelling at you, do it. Take your 3 breaths, notice your 3 things, and then evaluate the situation and respond accordingly. in any situation other than obviously an emergency. If there's an earthquake, react, go to wherever you need to go, I'm not going to give earthquake advice right now, but the point is that if there's an emergency situation, let your reflexes and your instincts take over. But if you're in a position where you're dealing with another human being, or you're dealing even just with yourself, take those 3 breaths, notice the 3 things around you, and then choose to act in the most proper way possible. And don't get down on yourself if you fail. Just try again. It takes a lot of practice, a lot of meditation, and a lot of introspection to be able to do this second nature. In all my previous relationships, even in the beginning of my current one, which we're married now 10 years, it's going to be in a couple weeks, and we have the best relationship out of that I could possibly have ever imagined. And even in the beginning, there would be times where, she would say something completely harmless to me, but because I was lost in some thought somewhere, I took it meaning something else, and I was looking at it from a past perspective of something that we had already dealt with, and boom, I exploded and yelled, and it caused a fight. And then, what do you know, of course, the next day I'm apologizing, and I promise I'll do better, and then of course I did. But at the end of the day, if you can master taking those 3 deep breaths, noticing the 3 things in your present surroundings, and by the way, that's not even something that I came up with, it's something that I read somewhere that really, really works. I wish I actually knew who said it, because I would love to give that person credit who came up with it, but either way, if it helps you, that's wonderful. Take those 3 breaths, notice those 3 things, and then act instead of reacting. It's gonna change your life so quickly, and remember, it's not gonna happen overnight. But with practice and practice and practice, you will get better at that. You will be able to come back to the present moment. Now, why is it so important? Because in a relationship, as we grow as people, right, you have to let go of the notion that you have of who that person was when you met them. Because we are all growing. Relationships grow and change. And the reason why so many people fall out of love or get divorced is because they're not growing together. And because they're not allowing the other person to evolve and grow. They're holding them in that one space where they first met them, and that's not healthy. So you have to be willing to let the past perspective of everything around you literally die. Like, just let go of it. It doesn't matter. Come at it from a present perspective of what is, not what was and not what could be, but what is, and work from there.